Hello, friends. It's your boy Jeff here again with you. And yes, we are back in the spin zone. I've got 8 albums here to show, representing my listening for the past week or so. I've been able to get back on track a little bit with my listening. Took in a bunch of records here recently, which I showed, and the rolling record crate, which had been slowly shrinking, has refilled again. So I've been trying to do my best to knock down some of that amount. And nothing too fancy or exotic this time, but everything I have been playing has been enjoyable. Starting with Infinity by Journey. I mentioned in my last haul video that I got this as part of the stack, but I didn't show it because I played it, so I'm showing it as part of the spin zone. Don't quote me, but was this Steve Perry's first album with Journey? I'm not sure. I'm not up on my Journey history, but this album is great. Like I said, I think in the haul video, a bunch of hits that we all know and love are on this one, like Wheel in the Sky, Lights. When the lights go down in the city. It's one of my favorite songs. Feeling That Way. That's another one I got to sing along to all the time, but I won't. I did it last time. But beyond all those hits, you know, this is a great album all around, and it's definitely one where they built their reputation on, rightfully so. Say what you will about Journey, they deliver the goods. I've always been a fan of them, at least the Steve Perry version of it. And another band I've always been a fan of, the Guess Who. This is the best of the Guess Who. I know I showed the vinyl on this one is very thin, and I even wobbled it for you in that video. Some surface noise, you know, there were some cracks and pops even after cleaning, but overall the sound was pretty good. You know, it could have been a whole lot worse, especially because this had, you know, several scuffs on it. And whenever I see that on a record surface, you know, it's always a crapshoot, whether it'll play through, whether you'll notice it, whether it'll make a detrimental effect on the sound. So, but I've always liked the Guess Who, you know, and their greatest hits here is just front to back, all killer, no filler. These Eyes, Laughing, She's Come Undone, No Time Left for You, American Woman, No Sugar Tonight, In My Coffee, Hand Me Down World, Share the Land. Yeah, this is a classic rock staple album. Killer stuff. Best of the Guess Who. I love it. Now we're going to do some blues. I showed this one, and you knew I was going to play these blues records first thing. J.B. Hutto and the Hawks, Keeper of the Flame. When I showed this in the haul video, I was hoping that this would be along the lines of a Hound Dog Taylor type of sound, and it's really not. He plays slide, but it's not that fast, greasy lightning type of sound that Hound Dog plays, which I love so much. But this is still very good. Side 1 is studio cuts, and side 2 is live. Is from a live show that he did. Recorded live at Vegetable Buddies, South Bend, Indiana, July 11th, 1979. So he's a South Side staple, or was, I should say. And this is a great album. I've never seen any of his albums anywhere before, so when I saw this in the stack that my dad picked up, I was thrilled. And this record is in great shape, played wonderfully, great sound, and the music is pretty great too. Then, B.B. King, live at Cook County Jail. You knew I was going to play this one right away too. This was a reissue on the Pickwick label. This was originally issued on ABC Records. And I was a little concerned about this one too, because like the Guess Who one, the vinyl on this was pretty thin. It looked pretty clean though, and it played wonderfully. And the sound was great on this album. I was very, very happy with it. And of course, I was very, very happy with the music too. Recorded at Cook County Jail, September, was it September 10th, 1970? Something like that? Sometime in September. Yeah, September 10th, 1970. Great, great album. You know, BB's at the peak of his powers here, singing and playing. Just wonderful stuff. You know, The Thrill Is Gone is on here. Every Day I Have the Blues, How Blue Can You Get? Sweet 16. Love it, love it, love it. So this was a big check off of my want list when I got this one. Very, very happy with it. Another one I was equally happy for was the best of Earth, Wind, and Fire. A little 180 from all the blues. I know these are all albums that I showed recently in that haul video. This was just stuff that I was hot to play as soon as I saw it. And this one had great sound too. And of course, you know, just about all of their hits from the 70s are on here. You know, September, Shining Star, their cover of Got to Get You Into My Life. All great stuff. I dig Earth, Wind, and Fire. This is a great party record. This would be a great one to throw on at a party. Someday. Someday we'll all have a big party in the VC, I hope. We'll all be fighting over who's gonna be the DJ and who's gonna play the music, but it'd be fun anyway. And then I pulled out of my collection the Cars' first album, just as a tribute, as my own, you know, lame tribute to Rick Ocasek, who died this past week. Yeah, I picked this up at an estate sale years ago. This is one of the few albums that I still kept in the shrink because it's in good shape, you know, and I dug the hype sticker, so I just left it. Usually I take the shrink wrap off, but for a couple albums I've made exceptions. And the Cars' first album is really their masterpiece. You know, so many great songs on this one. You know, like, as you can see here, Just What I Needed, My Best Friend's Girl, among others. So it was pretty, of course, pretty sad to hear about Rick Ocasek's death, which occurred just a couple of days after Eddie Money's death. So music community has been taking a couple of hits here lately, which is not good. I've always liked the Cars. They're one of those bands that have always been around. Anytime I would play the radio, it seems like a Cars tune would pop up sooner or later. So I have Heartbeat City besides this album too, but I just played this one. Heartbeat City is a little too 80s sounding. It's slightly more dated than this. This has more of a timeless sound to it. I've always loved the Cars' first album, so rest in peace, Rick Ocasek. We'll miss you, brother. Then PJ Harvey, Late England Shake. I listened to this yesterday as I trying to wake up, drinking my coffee. This is one that I've been meaning to play, but it just never, you know, some records, it just doesn't seem like it's the right time because this is sort of an intense album. Very, very good. And I was already familiar with a lot of this music. And I happened to come across this copy when I was record shopping in Oak Park months ago. And I came across this and I just grabbed it. I think I had, what did I have in my hand that I was going to buy? Was it the Birds' greatest hits or something else? But I ended up putting that back and buying this instead. So anytime I can find a PJ Harvey on vinyl, I'm going to grab it. And this is only the second album of hers that I have on vinyl. Maybe someday the record companies will see the light and re-release her stuff or release it for the first time on vinyl because, you know, being a 90s artist, you know, vinyl was pretty dead in the 90s. So I don't think her stuff got much of a vinyl release at all during that time. So, but this album came out in 2011. And PJ Harvey is one of my favorites. I guess you could say from 90s artists, but just artists in general. Love her voice, love her songwriting, and the lyrics on this album are pretty bleak and pretty intense. And this is really great stuff. Highly recommend this album if you can find it in any format. And I mean, and get the CD if you can only find the CD or download it. But Let England Shake is a great, great album from her. And last but not least, played this after dinner last night. The last of the blues albums that I picked up. Lonnie Brooks Blues Band's Bayou Lightning. This was a great listen too. It's on the Alligator label. Lonnie Brooks was another staple of the Chicago South Side blues clubs. And I'd seen him a couple of times, I think, when I was hitting up the blues bars back in the 90s. He played a lot with his son, Ronnie Baker Brooks, who's a guitarist and a singer in his own right. I know Lonnie died several years ago. I want to say at least several years ago. But I was thrilled to get this. And the sound on it is great. It played wonderfully. The music is fantastic. He's a great guitarist too. What can you say? There's nothing bad about this record at all. Just trying to hold it so there's not a lot of glare. But Bayou Lightning is a great listen if you want some down-home Chicago Southside blues. There you have it, friends. Kind of a short spin zone this time around. Time is tight with a lot of different projects I've got going on. So I'm still hanging in there. I'm still punching away at this thing. I've got a ton more records to listen to, so I'm just going to keep doing it. And there will be more 78 Cavalcade videos coming. I'm getting several requests based off my last video that I made showing all of the 78s that Tone and Groove sent. So that'll probably be the next thing I do. That probably won't be until next week. I'm hoping. So keep hope alive, keep some patience, and I will be spinning those records at 78 RPM. And on the Stephen King front, I've started the Institute. I'm about 50 pages in. I plan on hitting that book a lot harder this weekend. And whenever I finish it, I'll do a review on it. That can be a new feature. I think that's everything. All right, guys, have a good weekend. It rained here. It's supposed to rain again on Sunday. So hope everybody stays dry. Hope my Texas friends, especially my Houston friends, are dry after getting hammered with all that rain yesterday. And everybody else, have a wonderful weekend. This is Jeff. Peace. Love you all. And I'll see you soon.